Hello and welcome back to my channel. Sorry, I haven't posted in a while. I had a miserable cold and I'm finally starting to feel better. So yeah, I didn't want to subject you to the sneezing and coughing and all the stuff that goes with it. So today I'm going to do something that I've been wanting to do for some time, and it is talk about narcissistic parents, particularly I'm going to start with narcissistic mothers. And I know this is a big one for a lot of people, so I'm happy to finally get to this one. I did do another video that I didn't end up posting because I found that I was having some issues with it. So I wanted to start over and just really speak off the cuff for what I know about narcissistic mothers, which I find is generally a little more effective, at least on my end, than trying to read off traits or things like that. If somebody does want something more formal like that, let me know. But will cover, I hope, most of that. So the thing about a narcissistic mom is also the way it kind of makes you feel when you're growing up with one. And a lot of times, well, most times, you don't realize it until much later into adulthood, particularly if she's a covert narcissist. And generally, there are obviously, gender isn't always the factor as far as if someone is a overt or covert narcissist. However, moms generally veer more towards covert, and a lot of that might be social conditioning. It could be just, having to hide more and be a little sneakier. There's also the victim narcissist, I will get to. So they can definitely run the gamut. Moms can be more overt, more covert, a mixture of the two. The basic feeling you're left with, though, is that you're never good enough. You're never good enough no matter what you do, and you're never going to get her approval. You're kind of left with this feeling of you're not feeling loved, you're not feeling validated. Some of the traits of a narcissistic mother, there's generally a lot of gaslighting involved. There can be a withdrawal of, this idea of very conditional love. So if you don't do what I want, I'm going to take my love away from you. That could be the silent treatment. It could be yelling, it could be screaming, but could also just be the absence of something. And sometimes that's harder to put your finger on if you're being emotionally neglected, where a person just basically doesn't give you the time of day, or they're just not paying any attention to you. So you can't quite understand. You're going, well, they're not really being abusive, but I don't feel loved, I don't feel heard, I don't feel validated. So the thing about a narcissistic mother is that she can either, if you are of the same gender, then she might identify with you, see you as competition, particularly as you get older. So when you're younger, it might be like, we're like twins, we're like sisters, let's dress alike. And then when you get older, she might want to compete with you and see you as more of a threat. If you are of the different gender, then she might she might lump you in, like, oh, if you are identified as male, it might be like, oh, well, men are the same and you're just like all the other men. And so it might be kind of alienating you in that way, or seeing you as more of a threat or someone to put down. So that's not always the case, but certainly that can be an element within a narcissistic relationship with a mother. One of the really hard things to reconcile is this person who is supposed to love you and is supposed to care for you and is supposed to be the person who loves you no matter what and accepts you is not those things. And that can be a really hard thing, especially to reconcile later in life when you're an adult. And there's so much to this that I feel like this might just be part one to this, because I think I just need to do more parts. And I haven't even gotten to the narcissistic father yet. So I think that maybe I'm going to leave this here today, because I do feel like this is so complex and there's so much to cover. And so I think right now I wanted to just touch on it, give a general idea, and to maybe let you know that there is nothing wrong with you. You are not unlovable. You are not flawed in any way. I'm a mother, and a mother is supposed to love their child. you want to be accepted, you want to be loved, you want to be seen and heard, you want to have that soft place to land. And if you're not getting that, you end up with that insecure attachment, which I have touched on in my attachment video. A lot of times you might end up with the anxious attachment, where you're constantly, that fear of abandonment, that fear of no one loves you and you have to make people love you, and the world will never be okay if someone doesn't love you. Or the opposite, I don't need anyone, I'm fine, pushing people away. Or the disorganized, where we get back to like, come here, go away, come here, go away. So that's sort of the attachment piece that comes in, which I've touched on, and you can see how complex this stuff gets. So I wanted to just put it out there to maybe cover for today just what it feels like to have a narcissistic mom, to be raised by a narcissistic mom. You're never good enough. You don't feel loved. You feel like whatever you do, you're going to be criticized. You're going to be just not accepted. If you don't do exactly what they want you to do, then it's not okay. You're an extension of her. You're another arm. You're another limb. As long as she's doing everything you want, it might be okay, but even that's not a guarantee. Not that I even recommend doing that, but you could twist yourself into pretzels and she might still find fault with you, or probably will. And so it's a feeling of you're isolated. You feel so lonely. It's just this coldness, I think, this cold feeling that you feel almost in the pit of your stomach, that I'm just not lovable. And so I wanted to leave that here today. If you have any questions or things, shoot me some comments. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. I want to keep bringing you this content, and maybe, stay tuned to part 2. I'm gonna continue with this one, I think. So lots more to come, and this was just the tip of the iceberg. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.